Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like it o'clock, and I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell and all that shit, and I'll send you my NHL Pearls of Wisdom necklace directly to your door via helicopter and signed by me. Now, why would you not want that? I don't know. Okay, the big news that I heard yesterday, the rumor going around above in the environment, while I was having my massage and meditation time, was that Point might be being traded by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, when I first heard this, I'm like, no way. How could they possibly? Point is like the possibly the Bergeron of this generation. He probably has Selkies coming up ahead of him. 90 point guy, one of the best defensive players in the league. Why would Tampa Bay want to get rid of him? I thought to myself. I thought, self, this can't be. But then I went and looked up. Then after I was finished my meditation and such, I went and checked out the Tampa Bay Lightning's issues here. And the big issue that they have is they have Vasilevsky to pay next year. Now, in the cap world, let's put it this way, I don't think Stamkos is an option. He's got a no movement clause. There's no way he wants to get out of there, and it would be a PR nightmare. Really, he should be the guy to go. You can't trade Kucherov, for sure. They've thought about Tyler Johnson probably, and Andre Palat, and maybe they will trade both of those players. But the problem really, even more than that, they definitely have to clear up room. No doubt, they may even have to trade one of those guys at Point to get Vasilevsky signed up, because Bobrovsky just got $10 million a year. Vasilevsky he's not going to be a free agent, but I don't know if I want to be screwing around with this guy, doing bridge deals and such. Depends how much he pushes it. I would really want to sign him up now. If you give him another 2 or 3 more years to keep on doing what he's been doing, he's going to be very expensive. You just might get away with something like $7 or $8 million a year for the next 7 or 8, which is only about maybe $5 million more than they have right now. But the other problem they have, and I bet you they've looked at Johnson, and I bet you they've looked at some of their guys. Johnson at $5 million a year is basically what he's making now for up until 2024. That's a hard sell. His numbers have not been in that. He's not improving numbers-wise. I don't know if your return would be the most wonderful thing in the world. I doubt you'd even get a first for him. I don't know. Maybe. But if they can't, if they're not getting a reasonable return, and they've got Andre Palat, whose numbers also have not been super stellar, maybe can't get a first for him either. Maybe a B prospect and a second-round pick and stuff like that for both of them. Then you're left with guys like Matthew Joseph and Danik Martel, maybe Adam Ernie, sign him up as your wingers, and your lineup all of a sudden doesn't have the depth that it did before. And now here's the other problem. They are really low on prospects coming up, especially forwards, for the next little while. Maybe Tyler Radish might be the closest out of all of them that they have. Alex Barbre, but he's only like 5'9". So they really could use a fresh prospect pool. So before I get any much longer, I better get into who I think, if this were to happen, what would happen, what may happen. First of all, the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators have cap room for days. They've got they've got 2 first-round draft picks next year. If they rolled the dice and said, you can have our first next year unprotected, that might get Point, because you could get Lafreniere, which would be a much cheaper Point. You'd have a very good player for 3-4 years before you got to sign him up again. And that could Point and Lafreniere may not even be one, may not be better than the other. They could offer San Jose's up um, with Josh Norris that they picked up from San Jose, or Logan Brown. On defense, they've got Eric Brandstrom. They've got a ton of Drake Batherson's another one. Alex Formenton. They could put a really good package. Rudolph Balcers. They could put a really good package together of prospects to fill that pool up for Tampa Bay, and actually have a name to maybe bring some people to watch the games in Ottawa. Might not be a bad idea. Okay, the other one that's got to jump off right into your head right away, for sure, if you're following hockey, you got to figure the Columbus Blue Jackets will be like fumbling all over. Kekalina will be like, whoa, point, what the hell? Shut up, stop everything. I'm going to talk to them about this, for sure. Now, the problem with Columbus is they do have Josh Anderson to sign next year. They also have to sign Zachary Werenski this year. So their $15 million cap space is going to get eaten up quite a bit. I think with them, you may have to take somebody like Boone Jenner back, who can play center, but he's only for another 3 years. Possibly Josh Anderson, who's 25, but you'd have to sign him again. If they can get away with it and not take anything back, and honestly, I'm not sure I can see how they could do that if they're going to sign him for $9 million a year. But the only way I could think of is if they don't sign Pierre-Luc Dubois, or they give you guys Pierre-Luc Dubois in the deal, something of that nature. Amazing. They lost all that salary in Panarin and Duchesne and all of those guys, and they're not in horrible cap space or cap problems, but if they were to take him, they would be pushing it. And Oliver Bjorkstrand, they might be able to, maybe you want to take a look at him. For some reason, he hasn't fit in there, but he's got tons of talent. I think he could do well. I think that's a good possibility, but it would be a little more difficult of a trade. Here's another one for you. It is, and this is where I think it would be the team that I think would be most likely to really be going hard, would be the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Minnesota Wild have about $9 million in cap space at the moment, and they only have Kevin Fiala and Joel Eriksson Ek to sign that I can see. Next year, they're going to have to sign. They're going to have to sign Jared Spurgeon, so that's going to be difficult. But I think they're willing to go all in here. They may ask you to take a little bit back, like, say, Greg Patterson, who's only 2.2 for the next 2 years. You can get a right-handed defenseman, which Tampa Bay kind of needs right now. They could use somebody like that. And they could offer up Jordan Greenway or Luke Cunnin. Luke Cunnin looks like a fantastic player. And Jordan Greenway has got to learn how to use his size. But they also have their first-round draft pick next year, and they could have a bad year next year, honestly. Their playoff bubble. So if they didn't protect it, you could get some really good prospects, maybe take $2 million back in return, and that's only there for 2 years. And you'd be able to fill that prospect pool back again. Tampa Bay would be able to fill that prospect pool back again. These are the three teams I would say. I looked at LA. I just didn't see enough there unless maybe LA if they offered up their first, because Carter is going to be going soon. But these would be the most bullish teams I would think going after him if he is available. And I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Lightning fans. I sure hope he's not, because he is one of my faves. I love watching that guy. Anyways, that's my full 42%, boys and girls. That's all I have to give. Lots of love to you.